Hello, everybody. How are you? This is Dr. Morote, Dean of the Graduate Studies. I am here today to talk about forensic science, your favorite topic if you want to watch TV and learn all of these wonderful things to learn about with the Masters in Forensic Science. And we have with me our alumni, Lydia de Castro, is one of alumna that she finalized the program some years ago. So she will tell us what she's doing. And we have our director, Dr. Meki Prinz, that she will talk about the program. So I'm so excited. I'm happy to have them. Let me now introduce them properly. One second here. And let's talk about Mr. Castro. Mr. Castro holds a Bachelor's of Sciences and Master of Science degrees in Forensic Science from John Jay College of Criminal Justice. So it's John Jay Corazon. She was an assistant director with New York State or CME DNA Lab. She's now the director of the Division of Forensic Science in Westchester County. She's also commissioner in New York State Commission on Forensic Science. Welcome, Mr. Castro.
Thank you.
Professor Dr. Prinz, Meki Prinz, is a professor in John Jay Science Department and the director of the Masters of Forensic Science. Her expertise in forensic DNA analysis. Dr. Prinz has more than 30 years of the DNA casework experience and has served several organizations promoting the best practice of forensic science. Her previous employer was the Institute of Legal Medicine in Cologne, Germany. Oh, I know Cologne. And the Office of Chief Medical Examiner in New York City. So welcome here. Welcome to both of you. And let me begin with our alumni. Tell us, Lydia Castro, what do you do, and tell us about your job, and tell us what are you doing, because people are curious about where the Masters of Forensic Science take you.
Well, I have a brand new job. I've been here exactly 2 weeks. And so I'm the new lab director with the Division of Forensic Science in Westchester County. My lab is a multidisciplinary lab. So we have DNA, we have drug chemistry, we have crime scene, trace analysis, and audio, video, and imaging. I'm just getting my feet wet here in the laboratory. I know the science, but I have to learn the agency.
Wow. Now the DNA really changed the entire world with it. Because I can see the cases that people are solving, even cases of 30 years, 20 years, is they save something. It saves a lot of cases and a lot of life as well. Now, before this job, what was your previous job? What you were doing?
So my previous job, I was an assistant director at the New York City Office of Chief Medical Examiner. So I was in the DNA laboratory, and I supervised a group of about 25 analysts. And they were all DNA analysts who worked on the different types of cases that were submitted. They could be homicides, sexual assaults, gun possession, robberies, anything that we could potentially get DNA from. And depending on what the details of the case were, we would test that evidence.
Wow, that's amazing. So Dr. Prinz, Meki Prinz, tell us about the program. What the students learn in this program, and what they do, what kind of jobs they get. Tell us everything. We want to know everything about the masters.
So as forensic science is the application of a natural science to matters pertaining to the law. So we teach analytical techniques and critical thinking and data interpretation to be used in different disciplines, like Lydia de Castro said. We have a DNA molecular biology in forensic science track. We have a toxicology track, which also covers drug analysis and illegal substances. And we have a criminalistics track where students learn how to analyze pattern evidence like fingerprints or trace evidence like hair and fiber. So these are all very applied methods students learn, complicated instrumentation, but instrumentation that is also used in current forensic casework. So they are highly qualified to then work in a crime lab or in a clinical toxicology laboratory.
So give me 1 minute. I'll have to cut because they texted me that we are not live. Although I'm seeing us live. Give me 1 second. See what happened. I see that I am on live, but see.
Yeah, it looks live to me. I see the live button.
I see live also.
Me too, but they say they don't see. Let me check it out. 1 second. Let me check it out before panicking. No, we are there. We are there. Okay.
Oh, that's live.
We are live. Yay! I don't double checking. That shows that we are live because somebody wasn't see. All right. So now let me just concentrate again. So, Lydia, tell us about. Do you remember when you graduated? Like which year? You remember which year?
I graduated with my master's in 2010.
2010. So yeah, almost 10 years ago. So do you remember your class with your favorite courses? Could you please tell us back to your childhood and tell us the courses that you took, that were useful now?
Yes, yes, I was a child during that time. My favorite classes were the electives because at that time the master's program, the basics mirrored the classes in undergrad. So it wasn't until the master's program that I got a chance to take some specialized courses. So one that I really loved was forensic anthropology. So I got to study skeletal remains. And the great thing about that was that the professors were practicing forensic anthropologists. And as a matter of fact, they taught at Lehman College. So, another CUNY school, and that was, great collaboration there. But it was just eye-opening to be able to look at skeletal remains and look at the differences between men and women. It's not so clear-cut now with ethnicities, especially with so many people getting together across all the different racial and ethnic lines. It may not be as clear-cut as maybe it used to be many, many years ago, but it still was very interesting, and I enjoyed that class a lot. Another class I really liked was forensic medicine, and that was taught by a medical examiner. So like I said, those electives were the ones that I really enjoyed a lot.
So the ones you choose because you like it, that's the reason you enjoy it a lot.
Well,
This is very interesting, having the skeleton and things like people think that they only learn in amazing school, but you learned in the forensic side. I'm sorry, I caught you. You were about to say something.
I was just going to say that it also, I would say that in a way, not so much the forensic medicine, but I wish I had known that there was such a thing as forensic anthropology, because I liked it so much. I said, oh, gee, this is something that I really would have loved to have done. So there was a little bit of sadness, but not like crying sadness, but gee, I wish I had known. But I appreciated the opportunity to be able to do that course and to have that exposure through the school. It was really, really wonderful.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love to do that. I love, when I hear it, I think I want to go to those labs. I probably will sneak in one of your labs, Dr. Please, Meki.
You're welcome.
I already ready to go and sneak there. So tell us about the experience, what the students do, the labs, the professors, what the students will expect when they're there.
So I'm glad Lydia brought up the anthropology class. We still teach that class, and that class actually has a practical exercise where we bury some plastic skeletal remains in Central Park and then perform a real professional excavation that becomes a class project. And so we try to, aside the three specializations that I already mentioned that are very crime lab focused, we do expose students to other fields. We have a forensic entomologist on staff. So we have a forensic entomology class. We now have a crime scene investigation class. We also have that anthropology class. We also invite speakers to our graduate seminar from different areas. We've had somebody who works for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals organization, because what I didn't know, animal abuse is sometimes an indicator that there's also domestic abuse in the same household. So there is a very collaboration between the forensic scientists working for the animal abuse organization and the NYPD. We've had speakers from NYPD, ballistics laboratory, from the OCME laboratory, from different research groups in forensic science. So we're trying to broaden everybody's perspective in addition to the curriculum that we offer.
Can I add to that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
By broadening that experience, it mirrors the collaboration that we have to do in our laboratories, because we have to sometimes work using all of these different specialties. So I remember after 9/11, we worked very closely with the anthropologists and the forensic dentists, and so to have that exposure in school, that just mirrors what you might actually end up doing once you're working in a laboratory, and to be able to understand what they're saying to you because you've had some sort of exposure to it, I think it's really beneficial.
Yeah, and then you learn. I was hearing about the connections. You everything is about how you connect things. The fact that you connected animal abuse with possible abuse inside of the home. I didn't think about that until right now. I said that's true. I remember there was one famous terrorist that she used to mistreat animals when she was a teenager. So she had that tendency of being aggressive. That's very interesting how you learn all of this. So you are not only using science, but you use also psychology and anthropology in all of these area. So Lydia, tell me, in what moment of your life you say, I will do a master's on forensic science? In what moment you say, that's what I want to do?
That was the easier decision.
Because you were in science already, right?
Right. So I was already there. And Dr. DeForest, who, is a legend in the program, he spoke to me about it and asked me if I was interested in going for my master's degree. So it wasn't really an epiphany. It was really just the next step for me.
That's right. So you already knew what you wanted.
I don't know whether I knew what I wanted.
But you say, this is my area. This is my area.
I knew that I liked what I was doing and I liked what I was learning.
Yeah.
And someone who I respected greatly and consider a mentor to this day asked me if I was interested in going for the master's program. And that was really enough for me.
That's good. Now, do you remember how do you finish the master that you did? How was your final product in the master? What do you do?
Well, actually, it's very clear because I had a hiatus because of 9/11, because I had started it before 9/11, and 9/11 happened, and I just had to stop because we were deeply, deeply involved in that effort. I myself was involved with that effort for over 3 years, full time. I didn't have time to work on anything with my master's. And long story short, with Dr. Prinz's assistance, I was able to pick up where I left off in 2008 and finish my master's degree. So all I remember, and this to me was the best part, honestly. Um, I first said I made myself a mantra. If it's not good for Lydia, Lydia's not doing it, because I needed to focus on getting it done. And I'm a night owl, and I worked on most of my write up overnight on a tiny little netbook, very small little computer, hunched over, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing research using NYU's libraries because we collaborated with them, emailing my supervisor saying, I'm going to be late. I'm just going to bed now. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But it was the best, one of the best things. I can't say it was the best, but that experience of really just hunkering down and doing this research and writing up this, I've never written anything like that, and pulling all of that information together. It was very satisfying to finally finish.
Yeah. So now you remember your those times, and then you use it. I mean, you use it forever. So this is a skill that is with you forever. Dr. Prinz, tell us about how the student finish the master. What is the final product? Is this like a thesis or
Yes,
clinical or internship? What they do?
No, it is a research thesis, and we do not have another option. We are accredited by the Forensic Education Panel, and a research thesis is mandatory. And I'm glad Lydia mentioned it. A research thesis is a great learning experience, but it is a bit challenging for our students if they already are employed full-time and they may not be night owls. But it is really a learning experience on how you prioritize your own progress. It builds self-discipline. These research and writing skills are really priceless. So it's students afterwards tell me that they learned a lot, but it has to be a research thesis and it has to be on a forensic topic. So students work with a faculty mentor, which is also great, because when you apply for a job, you need people to write recommendation letters for you. So it is really important that students build good relationships with faculty at our school, and having a mentor is very helpful there.
Yeah, that's having somebody to hold your hand, or a person that you can call, say, please write me a letter of recommendation.
Yeah.
It's part of the program, having this family. When you come to John Jay, you come to a family. That's what I'm thinking.
Amen.
Yeah, and I'm the mama.
And we are right now, of course, we are virtual, so it's a little bit harder to establish those relationships, but our practical laboratory classes are hands-on, because that experience is the most important experience that students take back.
Yeah, and you were telling me that even now in the pandemic, you still were able to, with the appropriate distance, we still have to go to the lab, because I mean, you cannot learn things. There are things you cannot learn online. You have to go and practice there. Right. So we really appreciate that. They're texting me. Let me see what questions they send me. Questions. Oh, they asked me how long they finish the master. How long the average?
So I would say the average is 5 semesters. You can finish in 4. But you need to be very disciplined and start your research thesis and complete your research thesis while you're still taking coursework. So that full-time students can do this, but students that also work, that's not feasible. 5 semesters is feasible, because then you have 2 summers for research and writing.
Yeah, to catch up. Now, what kind of jobs they usually get once you finish?
So we do have a lot of students that work in public crime labs in the New York City area, NYPD, Westchester County, Medical Examiner's Office, New Jersey State Police. We also have some people that work in legal offices like the Legal Aid Society or the Manhattan DA's office. If they're more adventurous, there's a lot of jobs all over the country. We have one person who works in Colorado in a private tox lab, and some people in California. Some people go for a PhD. It's really a wide range. So it's public crime labs, private crime labs, private toxicology labs, some academia research labs.
That's good. So they have everything. They can do different things. They have different areas. So
yes.
There's private labs, public labs, non-profits, there is everything. So
yeah, federal, we have people working for the FBI, for the, the postal office has a crime lab. John J. Alumnus works there. The Drug Enforcement Agency in Manhattan, some students work there.
That's yeah. So Lydia, tell us about when you finish your master and you start looking for a job, what you were looking in that time, and how do you use your name? What was your first job after? Oh, you have something.
The light switch.
I already was working.
So you continue in your job?
Yes, I did. Yes. So it was a natural progression. I finished, and so now I had this goal completed. And at that point, I didn't need it for the job I was performing, but by that point, it was more a personal goal that I needed to complete.
Yeah, that was a personal, you already say, this is what I want to do. And,
Yes.
And the life take you to other areas.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that's good.
But I will add this. As the years passed, opportunities presented themselves where the masters could then be part of a portfolio of skills that I could offer for consideration, for promotion, or for another position, such as the commission. So I just saw it as showing how I've progressed within my career and showing it as proof, if you will, that I have the abilities shown by my being able to make it through the program that had the rigor attached to it, and that I can translate the skills that I learned with the masters into the different areas that I wanted to progress into.
I think that's very nice. So for those of you who are working and taking the master, you can see there is paths and there is things the life will take you once you conclude the masters. So we are now 5 minutes away. So I want to ask Dr. Meki, Prinz, advice for students who are considered to begin the masters. There's ones who are about to finish the bachelor and say, you know what, maybe I want to do the master in forensic science, or maybe people who are working already, like Lydia was working, and said, you know what, maybe it's time to take a master's degree. What would be the advice for them?
Yes, so it's definitely a big step, but it's highly recommended. This additional level of education, I think Lydia expressed it really well, will help you in your career to move to a next level, and those writing skills and research skills and critical thinking skills you learn will be helpful. We are looking for people that have a natural science background. So our students typically have either a biology or a chemistry degree or a forensic science degree with basic science classes already completed. So if people enjoy working in the lab, and they're good at science, and they're good at math. Statistics is becoming more and more important in forensic science. The field is getting more complex. So if you're up to the challenge, give it a try. It's very rewarding. It's a rewarding field. You're using powerful instrumentation and powerful science to do good, to find answers, to exonerate people, to help victims find closure. It's really a great field.
It is a very rewarding, but very stressful also. Learn, and help people to to learn, what happened with some people when they pass away or they crime. There are several areas that you can work in that. It's very interesting. I think if you want to help the humanity and sciences, you should be taking this master. I mean, it looks very interesting to me. And the way it's taught in John Jay with labs and practice is very practical. It's hands-on master's degree, which is very important because you need to know how to do the things, not only the theory. So Lydia, tell us about your advice for all students who are right now in the master. So they're already committed, they're already taking, and you explained us that you have to, in the time you were doing, you took a break because we have the 9/11, and then you come back, but you never give up. Tell us these students who on May, they will be looking for new promotions or job. What would be your advice for them?
Don't be too proud. Ask for help if you need it, and accept help when offered.
I like that. Sometimes we don't want to ask for help.
Exactly.
Some people are bad, especially if you are new in a job. You have to just ask questions.
It's a humbling experience, but you don't know how rewarding it is when you get that help. You can just breathe, and I say this as a supervisor. Why didn't you ask me? And I think that one of the important things that Dr. Prinz can do, and she can encourage, and I know she does from personal experience, and the faculty, is that be open, because sometimes you're fearful to go and ask, and you have to feel comfortable with that person. So Dr. Prinz was saying earlier about having a mentor. I feel it's so important that you feel that there is somebody that you can go to say, I need help. But then on the flip side of it, you've got to be willing to help if someone comes to you, because this is a huge investment of time and money and effort and blood, sweat, and tears. And for it to feel like you can't do it is really, it's really tough. So sometimes you just need a hand. So ask for help and accept help.
That's good. I'll offer help. If somebody asks you for help, please help them. So thank you very much. I enjoy it so much, and I learned with all our students who are watching right now more about the Master in Foreign Sciences. Please check the website. You have information there. And I will see you next week. Thank you, Lydia, for being here. Thank you, Director Meki.
Thank you for having us.
Very happy to see you.